So I had to divide this video because it was getting too long, so I divided it in part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is all the positives. You guys should definitely go check that one out. It came out before this one. And then part 2 is the one that you're watching, where I'm going to be talking about all the negatives. Okay, moving on to the negatives. And I want to give a disclaimer because I've done videos similar to this one where I compare places or I compare the pros and cons of a place. I've done it with Puerto Rico and I've received so much hate on that video. And I just want to say, you guys just heard me say everything that I loved about Korea. It is normal when you visit a place or even your hometown, there's stuff that you love and there's stuff that you hate. And it's normal for you to talk about it, it's normal for you to share it. And you're just expressing yourself and giving your opinion. By any means do I mean to offend anybody, especially any Koreans. Like, I don't want to come off as racist, I don't want to come off as ungrateful, or as I didn't enjoy the country, because I did enjoy the country at the end of the day. But yeah, there's always negatives to everything. So let's dive into the negatives. This first negative, I know that it falls on me and on us. Like, this falls on us. It's not, I won't blame it completely on Korea and Koreans. But the first thing that I have here on my list is the language. The language in Korea, ooh, it was so difficult, man. It was so difficult. Like, nobody speaks English. Like, nobody speaks English. Like, it's so rare for people to speak English. Like, it's rare for you to find somebody that speaks English. It's not something common over there. And people that do speak English most of the time is a really broken, really limited vocabulary, like English. Like, it's really bad. But I feel like this is on us because maybe we should have like learned a little bit of Korean to go over there and make everything more simpler on us. Because, oh my gosh, we got lost so many times. We couldn't really read barely anything because everything was in Korean. We couldn't understand people when they spoke to us. People couldn't understand us when we spoke to them. Ooh, everything like being in Korean was just a little bit, not even a little bit, it was stressful. Like, even the menus in places, in fast foods, like a lot of the fast foods, they have a lot of American fast food joints or like chains over there. And a lot of them do have like English on the menu. They have like a digital screen where you like it takes your order and whatever, and you can switch the language to English. So that was easier. But like local businesses or like traditional restaurants, everything was in Korean. Like, all the menus were in Korean. The signs in streets and subways and everywhere, all the signs were in Korean, and a lot of them did have the Korean word spelled in English, or like the characters that we use for like our English letters, basically. So a lot of them were written like that underneath the original Korean letters, but still, it's still in Korean, so you can read it, but you don't know what you're saying still, which is a little bit weird and stressful. So definitely that is a tip that I would say if you're going to be traveling to Korea, or even if you're going to be traveling anywhere, any country that you don't speak the language of, or they don't speak your language, learn at least the basics so you can communicate a little bit, and learn to read it a little bit, just a tiny bit, because it is going to help you a lot and it is going to take you a long way, and you're going to be so grateful that you did that before going to the trip and experiencing so much confusing and anxiety. Okay, the second negative thing that I have here is transportation. Transportation, I am going to admit, it was so difficult for us to, I guess, just get the transportation in Korea. I'm not saying that there isn't enough transportation, or transportation is hard to find, or it's just difficult to like travel to city or to travel to wherever you're going, like if you're from your hotel or Airbnb to your destination. No, that is easy. Like, there's trains, there's buses, there's taxis, there's everything that you could get. But again, it's very difficult and just stressful because taxi men only speak Korean, so there's a language barrier there and it is a little bit difficult. and a lot of them don't have a lot of patience with you if you're speaking in English and you're trying to communicate where you want to go. A lot of them will just tell you, no, like, just get on the next one, I'm not taking you. That happened to us a lot of times, where the language barrier wasn't even the reason why they told us no. A lot of the time we don't even know why they told us no, to be honest. Some of them would just tell us no, like, I don't want to take you there. Some of them would not even stop for us, being like without anybody in their car to take us to places. And it would say like they were available. A lot of them wouldn't want to pick us up. I don't know if it's because we're tourists. I don't know if it's because, I don't even know. I don't want to throw like racism in this, but I don't think that was it. I just think they didn't want to take us. I will say, in one occasion we were trying to get a taxi. We were at a mall trying to get a taxi to go back to the Airbnb, and there was a whole bunch of people just leaving the mall already, and we were one of the first ones to like stand in the curb and like wait for a taxi. And just like Korean families would have come out, or like couples or friends or whatever, people would just come out, and the taxi person wouldn't stop for us, but they would stop for the Koreans, and they would take Koreans and not us. So that was a little bit, I don't know, it kind of bothered us, honestly, because we were there first, so we should have gotten the taxi first. The next one is the subway system in Korea. I am assuming they have an excellent subway system where it takes you from a lot of places. Seoul is just so big. Like, Seoul is such a big city. It's crazy. Like, it is, I'd say 10 times bigger than New York, or 10 times bigger than Los Angeles. It's just enormous. It's enormous. And the train system, like, it probably takes you everywhere, but again, going back to the language, reading the signs in the train station, like the subway stations, was just so complicated. Like, everything was just so complicated, and there was never nobody around to help you. That's another thing that I don't know if I have it here to talk about it, like go a little bit deeper with that, but we never really got help from anybody, and it was just really hard to find even people that worked at these places. So you can only imagine how many times we got lost in the subway, and we would have to be like asking for help, and a lot of people just wouldn't want to help us, or there was nobody there to help us. Like, there was nobody that worked there. Oof, there were so many stressful days that we were traveling on trains, and it was just so awful because it was just so difficult. Okay, I have to rant about this one a little bit because I never understood it, and it still pisses me off a little bit. So in Korea, Kakao is like what's taking over everything. So everything is Kakao, or everything is Lode. Like, you'll see that everywhere. But for this one, I'm still in transportation, and I'm talking about Kakao Taxi. So Kakao Taxi is basically like the Uber. Like I was saying, like, it works like an Uber app. You download the app, you order your taxi through Kakao Taxi. Well, for us foreigners, I don't know why it never worked. It was so complicated. Like, these taxis, it was just so complicated. So we download the app, and first of all, it would require us to have a Korean phone number, and then you would have to put in the exact Korean words, like the addresses in Korean. It was just a whole mess, and we literally never really figured it out. All the taxis that we took were taxis that we would walk towards and like ask them like, hey, can you take us here? It was never really a taxi that we booked with the app. Third category under negatives is navigation. Navigation in Korea was not easy at all. And again, it's not because there's not sufficient transportation or the transportation system sucks. It's not that. It's that as foreigners, as vacationers, as tourists, it's just so difficult to understand the language and just how everything works. First of all, over here in the western part of the world, or at least in America, we are used to using our Apple Maps or our Google Maps or maps similar to those. Well, newsflash, those apps don't work over there in Korea, which is crazy, and I still do not get it. Google Maps and Maps don't work. They just do not work. The app doesn't work. they don't load completely, they lag, or when they do decide to work a little bit, the places that you're looking for are not listed on it. I wanted to go crazy when this happened because we were like, okay, how the heck are we gonna move around this city? Like, how are we gonna get to the places that we want to get to if the maps don't work? So what do we do? What do we do from there? It was so difficult. That part was, I have to admit, that was one of the most stressful parts because that's what we're there for. We're there for to do stuff and get around the city and like learn about the culture and move. And it was just so impossible to do it without Google Maps and maps. Okay, maybe you're asking yourself, was there an alternative to Google Maps, like a Korean version like Kakao Taxi? Well, yes, my friend, they have Kakao Maps. And Kakao Maps is absolutely crap. Like, it is awful. It is such an awful app. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that's what people use over there. Maybe we weren't using it right this whole time. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe. I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt because I just don't understand how Korean people use Kakao Maps every single day because it was just so difficult for us to understand as well. And the thing is that these places in the Kakao Maps, like, you could have it in English and you could look for places in English. Some of them wouldn't appear even though they were actually there, and then you would put it in Korean and they would still not appear even though it was actually there, because we would still or ask around like, hey, where's this place, like we're trying to get here, it's not on the map, is it there or is it open? And it would like in fact be open and it would in fact be there, but it was just not listed on Kakao Maps, which is the one that they're supposed to be using every single day. I don't understand how that works. I'm telling you, Kakao Maps really just messed up my experience in Korea a little bit, just a little bit, because it was just so hard to navigate that app and find the places that we wanted to get to. Honestly, most of the time we just winged it and went by what people would tell us where stuff was, or just like getting a taxi and saying like, we want to go to this place and just going there, because Kakao Maps never did it for us. This is gonna sound like the weirdest thing ever to complain about, because you never think that this could be possible. But in Korea, elevators do not work. So elevators are absolutely crap. They don't work at all. And I don't know how Koreans navigate elevators, because it's just so mind-blowing how something that we're so used to being so simple and doing its job so automatic and working and never failing, we're so used to that. Not having that over there was just so crazy. Like, I will never complain about an elevator anymore, like going slow or being ugly, or I don't know, the music. Elevators in Korea do whatever they want. Like, they go to the floor that they want to go and the floor that they want to leave you at, but not the floor that you actually want to go to. Elevators in Korea, they open their doors when they want to, and then they close when they want to too. Like, they don't, their sensors are just not there. They're not working. Like, this one time, it was like, I think the funniest thing that ever happened on a trip in Korea. We were going bowling, and the bowling was like in the 4th floor in a building. We're exiting the elevator. My sister goes out, my friend goes out, my cousin is going out of the elevator, like stepping out. I'm behind her. I'm gonna be the last one to step out. And the doors just close on my cousin. Like, they just boop, close on her. And she's literally like pinched like this against both doors. And it was just the funniest thing. At the same time, a little bit scary, but the funniest thing ever. It's just crazy that at first, when we started experiencing this, the first place that we stayed, the first Airbnb that we stayed at, the elevators never gave us problems. So we were like, okay, normal. From there on, all the other elevators were just ridiculous. I remember even getting on the subway elevators, and there were some elevators that you would literally have to keep your finger on the button for it to go up or down. Like, it's not like you just touch it, you're done. No, you have to hold the button in place so it would actually move. If you stopped, it would just like literally stop moving mid-floor. It was just crazy. I remember when we were staying at the last place in a hotel, the elevators, they had three elevators, and the elevators just did whatever the heck they wanted. They would stop at whatever floor they wanted. I think one of the stupidest things that just like literally just made me so pissed off, because sometimes we were just so tired and we just wanted to get home and sleep, and that was all. Well, no, the elevators were always complicating everything for us. Could you believe, or could you imagine, that you get on the elevator, you touch your button, it is taking you to your floor. Our floor was the 12th floor. We were going up the floor. It was like midway, maybe going through the, I don't know, 8th floor, 9th floor. Somebody from the first floor touches the button because they're requesting to go up, and they're requesting the elevator. No, the elevator doesn't go all the way up and take you to your destination that you are already closest at. No, it doesn't do that. It will go back down and pick up the person that just pressed the button that was in the first floor after you're almost at the 12th floor. Yes, it actually does that. And it actually did that almost every single time. And I was about this close to take the stairs and just like finish with the elevators on this trip, because I was done with the elevators. During this whole trip, we literally thought that this bad luck with elevators was our fault. Like, it was only us that had that were just having really bad experiences with the elevators. Well, my friends, no. It wasn't only us. Everybody experiences elevator crap like this in Korea all the time. Can you believe the day that we're leaving, we're at the airport, we're trying to get to the 3rd floor because our gate is up there. We get on the elevator. There's this couple already in the elevator. It was this Korean man and this Russian woman. I think they were married. They were speaking Russian the whole time. We get on the elevator with them to go to the 3rd floor. They want to go to the 3rd floor as well. The elevator doesn't want to go to the 3rd floor. We would literally press the number 3 and it would go back down to the 1st floor or to the basement. And I'm not even lying when I say this. This kept on happening to us for about like 20 minutes. We were just trying to get to the 3rd floor. We had a lot of luggage, so we didn't want to use the escalator. We had a lot of luggage. And this couple also had a lot of luggage. At the end, we were just laughing. It was just so funny because we're just like beyond pissed already. It was just the funniest thing. Like, we started laughing with the couple because the same thing that would happen to us, it would happen to them. We were just trying to get to the 3rd floor, and we would just like keep going up and down, and would just never take you to the 3rd floor. Can you believe that we even switched elevators like 3 times? We just moved to the elevator across the hall to try to go to the 3rd floor because we thought, okay, maybe this elevator doesn't go all the way up. Maybe it just gets to the 2nd floor. No, we would switch to another elevator and it would do the same thing. And it kept on happening, I'm telling you, like for 20 minutes. And at the end, it was just the most funniest thing ever. And the couple, they were really nice. They were such nice people. They were like, this keeps happening to us. Why does it happen to us? And they were like, Korean elevators, they're just crazy. They just do whatever they want. It was the funniest thing ever. Okay, the next negative thing on my list is accessibility. Accessibility, like I mentioned briefly earlier, was not so easy to find. And I guess that's why a lot of things were just not that accessible. Starting with trash cans, like I said before, you won't really find trash cans anywhere. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to, if I have trash, there's a trash can anywhere that I go, and I just deposit my trash there. I'm done. I just keep on walking. No, in Korea, you have to take your trash with you. And yes, maybe it's good for some things, but I do find that it is bad for other things. Like, you just want to throw away your things, like your trash, but no, you have to keep on carrying it because there is no trash cans. Something that I was very shocked about, no bathrooms. A lot of the places don't have bathrooms, like, anywhere, like especially in restaurants. That was one of the things that was so weird for me. I'm so used to, like, over here, like, it is a must. A restaurant has to have a bathroom because then it's not up to code and it can't even function, right? Well, no, over there in Korea, restaurants having bathrooms is just optional. And if you need to go to the bathroom, like after you eat at a restaurant, you better hold it until you get home, or you try to find the nearest place that has a bathroom that probably it is far anyways, because a lot of the places do not have bathrooms. And that's just something very incredible for me, that bathrooms are just so inaccessible. And then workers, like I said before, trying to find workers or employees at stores, at the train station, at the subway, places like this, they don't really have a lot of staff, or you just wouldn't see them anywhere. Like if I saw maybe 2 people or 3 at a subway station working, like actually working for the subway, not working at a store, not working at a little convenience shop, not working at a food place, working for the train station or for the subway. If I saw 3 people, that was a lot during the whole like 20 something days that I was over there in Korea. There's just no employees anywhere, and that was something that made it so difficult for us, because we wanted to ask questions, we wanted to ask directions, we wanted to know where to go, what to do, how to find what we wanted to find, and there was just nobody there. It was just so odd not to have employees literally anywhere. Okay, and my last thing for my negatives, something that I really didn't like about Korea. I hate saying this, I honestly do hate saying this, but the thing that I didn't like, or that I disliked the most, or not enjoyed at all about Korea, were Koreans. And I don't want to come off as racist, because I'm not racist. I'm just stating how I felt and how the culture and the people made me feel, which was really weird. So Koreans, I would start saying that, and maybe I shouldn't generalize it or like include everybody, but it was something that kept on happening. Like, I'm not saying these things because it happened to me once, or it happened only to me, because it also happened to my sister, my cousin, my friend. It happened to all of us. And it didn't happen just once. Like, I'm saying this was repetitive during the whole trip, and it would probably happen like every single day. Something would happen like this. And the first one would be, Koreans don't have a lot of like manners or customer service at all. Manners or like sense, like common manner sense. I don't even know how to explain it, but there's just no common sense when it comes to manners and how you treat people. And when I say like having no manners, I mean like staring. Okay, like, yeah, we're in a foreign country, I'm dark skinned, and yeah, maybe I do stand out in a place where there's only Asian people or Korean people. Yes, I do stand out a lot. People stare at you a lot anyways. Like, I've gone to other places, or maybe I've only been to places in the States. I don't know how it works in other countries, but I don't know. In Korea, a lot of people, like, everybody just would stare at us, and sometimes at first it wasn't bad. Like, okay, I'm different, that's cool, they're looking at me, hi, I'm kind of famous, no. But when it got super annoying is that, okay, people stare at you, you look at them back and you smile, because that is like the normal thing to do when you're a nice person, friendly, just cordial. But no, they don't smile back at you. I do have to say, I'm not including kids in this. The kids were very nice, they were very curious. They did stare a lot, but they were so nice. They just wanted to know where you were from, and they would come up to us and they would ask us like, hi, like, where are you from? And that was cute, that was nice. Like, we were friendly to them, we would tell them where we're from and whatever. But adults would just be plain out rude, and they would just stare at you, you would stare at them back, you would smile, they would not even flinch. They would not even blink at all either. They would just keep on staring at you, looking at you from like up and down. No smile, no smirk, nothing, no teeth. Something else was that they would actually talk about us in front of us. They would talk about us in their language. I don't know if it was positive, I don't know if it was negative. Their faces very bland, so you don't really know, you can't tell if they're saying positive things or if they're saying negative things. That's going back to knowing the language of the country, honestly. Like, that's on us as well. But yeah, a lot of them would talk about us like in front of us, which is not the nicest thing either. This was a crazy thing. Shoving and cutting in line. That's something that we basically experience every single day. Korea is a very full city, like it's very packed with people. There's a lot of people, it's very populated. People walk in the street and they don't care about you at all. They just shove you, they just push you, they just try to get in front of you in line. They literally cut in front of you in lines. You open the door to leave a restaurant and somebody just walks in or somebody just walks out when you're like literally stepping out yourself. I feel like they're very fast paced. Like they just have a very busy life and they just want to get to places quick, and that's why they do it. That's why they shove, that's why they push, that's why they're just going so fast and they don't care that you're in their way. I had this experience once. I was at a 7-Eleven, I was just buying some snacks. I got my Gatorades, I got my chips, I'm putting it on the counter. There's nobody at the counter because the guy that works there is putting stuff in the gondolas, like he's setting up his things. And I talked about this in the vlog that day that actually happened. I'm just gonna like briefly explain it a little bit because it goes straight into this. I'm putting my stuff on the counter. The guy sees me. He's walking towards me to start charging me for the things, for my items. And while I'm giving him my credit card to pay my stuff, my T-money, I see this like shadow just like right here, like right here, like standing maybe like not even a foot away, like closer than a foot away. I see it like a glance and I just like look to my side and I see this like Korean guy just staring at me like that, extending his hand, like trying to pay for his thing before I pay for my stuff that is already on the counter. Why? And when I saw him, he was like right there and I literally did like that because he was just so close to me. And it was like, I'm like, hello dude, like personal space, like, and wait your turn, there's nobody else in here, like I'm just paying for my things, it's just a few things, like a few like 4 items, like just wait your turn. And he had like only one thing in his hand, like why can't you wait your turn from a distance? What? Sadly, yes, I do have to say that my experience with Koreans was not the best, and I feel like Koreans are not the nicest people. I feel like they're not friendly at all. They're very to themselves and very focused on themselves, and to be honest, it's a little bad because it could come off as egotistical or egocentric as well. Like you're just focusing on yourself, your needs, like me first, me second, me third. That is what I saw in, I would say, the great majority of Korean people and the culture in general. They're not helpful at all. I have to mention this because we just found it so shockingly bad and sad and just so frustrating. That day was so frustrating. Like that night was so frustrating. The day that we went to Everland, we took an Uber there, and when we exited the park, we wanted to leave, so we had to take another Uber. Well, Ubers don't really get there like they do arrive at a Disney park where like there's a designated space for Ubers, taxis, Lyfts, and stuff like that. Like you know that you're gonna go there and you can see taxis already lined up that don't have anybody that they're waiting for. They're just waiting for anybody to ask for a ride. As for like Ubers and Lyfts, they do the same thing. They just park there expecting a large crowd to leave and to be like wanting to go back home. Well, in Korea that didn't happen. We went to the spot where we were supposed to take the Ubers. There was nobody there, like no car. It was already later at night, like it was getting kind of very late. Like it was probably like, I don't know, later than 8, and people were like leaving, exiting. The park was like literally emptying out like really fast, and there was no taxi there. So we go to the information desk. They have like a foreigner information desk where like they speak multiple languages, I guess that's what they mean by foreigner. It was already closed, so we couldn't ask for help there because we wanted to order an Uber. And again, like I said before, a taxi. And again, like I said before, Kakao Taxi wouldn't work with us because we didn't have a Korean phone number. It didn't want to take our cards. It was just a lot. Like the configuration was just really hard. So we go to the next information desk, to like the normal information desk for Koreans, I guess. And we asked this lady that was working there to see if she could book us a ride, like call the taxi company or even do it on our phone and like book us the ride. She says no. She says, no, sorry, I can't help you with that. You have to do it yourself. I mean, she didn't even say sorry. She just said, no, I can't help you with that. That's something that you have to do yourself. That is what she said. And that is like the worst customer service experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like, how can an employee or worker that's there to give information and help people say, no, I am not going to help you because you have to do it yourself? That is mind-blowing. Like, how does it work? How do people get away with that over there in Korea? I don't think they've ever heard of customer service. And I don't think they've ever heard of the customer's always right. Even though I do not agree with that term, and I do not agree with that. But they've never heard about stuff like that, about common manners, common policies, common just good nature people. Oh my gosh, like, why would you say no? That's your job to help us. Regardless of that, she said no. We stood there like a little bit shocked, and we just looked at each other and we were like, oh, huh? Like, did she just say no to us? And then we were like, what are we gonna do now? Like, if nobody's gonna help us here, how are we gonna get home? We decided to just like try again and like tell her like, hey, but we really need this ride. Like, we just can't work this out ourselves. We need a Korean number. She literally ignores us. I wasn't wearing a mask, and that was like an indoor little office, and she told me to leave or put on my mask, and I just put on my mask. My patience was gone. At this point, my patience was gone. And she just, another lady, this Korean lady, enters the office, walks right past us, like just cuts in line, knowing that this lady is supposed to be helping us. She goes towards the lady and she's like talking Korean, and the lady that's supposed to be helping us, she just switches her direction and focuses on helping this Korean lady. And she's like, or like, we were like, okay, she's clearly done with us, not gonna help us at all, so let's just go back. By the grace of God, we go back to the spot where the taxis are supposed to be, and there's two taxis, and one of them, the first one that we asked, tells us, no, I'm not gonna take you, and then the second one says, yes, we'll take you. And honestly, that was thanks to God, because if not, we would have not gone anywhere. We would have been stranded there. And the last thing that I have to add about like Koreans not being the best is that I feel like Koreans are very healthy with everything, and they live like this very healthy lifestyle and perfect lifestyle. Something that I found really bad, and I'm not sorry about at all. Like, if you do this, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with this. And it's honestly, you are the one that's ruining your life and even affecting others. But smoking, I don't support smoking. I'm not in agreement with smoking or smokers. I'm not for that. I don't smoke. I've never smoked, and I would never smoke. I'm not used to being around people that smoke either. Nobody in my family smokes. I'm not used to that. And over here in Puerto Rico, I'm not used to literally groups of people of like more than 10, I could say even 20 people just smoking together in an area. Koreans smoke a lot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so healthy with a lot of stuff, and then they just smoke. Like, everybody just smokes, and they would just smoke everywhere. Honestly, also smoke just affects me personally a lot, because I used to suffer from asthma when I was a kid, so just smells like that just like trigger me or something. So yeah, smoking, not good. And a lot of Koreans smoke, and they just smoke. A lot of places says like no smoking, but you will see like 20 people smoking there anyways, which is really, really odd. And yeah, I'm not for smoking, so sorry if you smoke, but I'm not sorry if you smoke. So those are all the negatives and the positives of Korea. In conclusion, I really enjoyed my time in Korea. Korea did teach me so many lessons. I learned so much, and I came back with so much inspiration. And some of the stuff that I learned was just to have more patience, and how I do actually have a lot of patience, because there were a lot of situations where I wanted to snap at people, but I was like, I can't. I can't snap at people because that's not me. That's not who I am. Like, these people are treating me a certain way, and it hurts a lot, but I need to control myself anyways, regardless of how they're making me feel. So, in a lot of occasions, yeah, I did want to snap. I held myself back and I didn't. With all of that said, even though there was a lot of negative things and a lot of things that really were so difficult for us and just so hard and frustrating, Korea is an amazing country, and Korea has a lot to offer and a lot to see and a lot to learn from, and it has a lot of great things. I would definitely recommend people to go to Korea and visit. Like, I would never say no, like I would never go back, or I would never recommend it. I actually do recommend it. Korea was a great experience. My tip, or like my opinion, is that if you're gonna go to Korea, don't go for such a long period of time. So that's what I concluded. Even before leaving Korea, I was like, okay, this is a country that I would come back to and maybe be like 2 weeks tops, but I would never be there for a month like we were, because it was just too much of frustrations of like language barrier, transportation, how we were being treated by Koreans. It was just too much. And for a 2-week vacation, that's amazing. For 3 weeks or 4 weeks or more, it is too much for me personally. It was too much. That is, I think, all that I have to say about Korea. Everything that I loved, everything that I hated. I really hope you guys took something from this, from my experience. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, to be honest. If you're a Korean person watching this, I do want to say sorry if I offended you in any way. That's not my intentions with this video. I just want to express how I felt and how the culture made me feel over there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if maybe I come off that way, but I'm not trying to come off that way. But yeah, I guess this is like the last thing that I am going to really talk about Korea. Like, my whole Korea experience is done on this channel after doing like 20 videos about like Korean vlogs and what I bought in Korea, and now this video. It's crazy. I'm done with this chapter of Korea. But yeah, Korea is definitely a place that I would definitely visit again. Not soon, because I want to visit so many other countries and I want to explore so many other places and other cultures. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have not watched the vlogs, they're going to be linked down below here or on a card up there. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, you guys can see all the pictures that I took on this vacation. I took so many pictures and great reels and TikToks. You can follow me on all of that down here. The links are below. You can follow me on all of those. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really always appreciate all the support that I get on this channel. Recently, my channel has been growing a little bit faster, which is amazing, and I'm so grateful. And I don't want to see that stop. I'm very, very grateful. So I will see you guys in the next video.